Götze or Willian? I need to choose.
All right, let's try and think. Let's try and think about this for a second.
That doesn't look like I was suggesting us sign the both of them do it, does he?
The player I would like Liverpool to sign in January is Red Bud Light.
The player that I'd like Liverpool to sign during the January transfer window is Todd Cantwell from Norwich City. He scored 6 times this season already and assisted twice, and I think he's an exciting young player that Liverpool could look at for the future. Of course, the Reds don't need particularly to add any more to the squad that they've got. They've got plenty of options, particularly in forward areas, with Takumi Minamino having already come in. But I just think to be able to strengthen further, Liverpool could do with a player of his creativity. And to be honest, he reminds me a little bit of Adam Lallana. Just in the way that he dribbles with the ball, he's got a lot of quality and creativity. I think potentially, if Lallana does move on during the summer, as he well might, he could be a decent option to replace him. We've seen during Lallana's time under Jurgen Klopp how much the German loves him, and I think potentially Cantwell could come in, learn his trade, and potentially from next season really settle in at Liverpool and do really well. So he's a player that I'd like Liverpool to look at. How much interest there is there, I don't know, and whether Norwich would be prepared to let him go during January is probably unlikely. But I think in terms of style, in terms of the numbers that he produces and the qualities that he's got, I think he might just be a perfect player for Liverpool to target.
So if you're watching this video, you're obviously going to realise as a Liverpool fan how difficult it is for Jurgen Klopp to sign any realistic player who's going to make a massive difference this starting 11, such as the world-class quality that we have right now. My shout might be a little interesting, but hear me out before you all start kicking off. The player I would like Liverpool to sign is Emre Can. Now, he can play in centre mid, he can play at left back, he can play at right back. Jurgen Klopp knows him as a player. When he left, fans were unhappy because he's got decent talent. He's gone to Juventus, he's not really making waves over in Italy, and I think he could be realistically someone Liverpool could get back. I know it might sound a bit mad, but I think it makes a bit of sense.
Liverpool probably aren't going to sign anyone else in January, let's be honest, but for the purpose of this video, let's go with it. I think the player I'd like to see Jurgen Klopp sign is someone he's been linked with before, a player he knows well, and that's Mario Götze. Since Philippe Coutinho left the club, there's always been that claim that Liverpool lack this number 10, this playmaker, creative option, and Götze could be that player. For Borussia Dortmund this season, he's not really had as many opportunities as he would like, and he's probably going to be moving on in the summer. He's out of contract and he's not intending to sign a new deal with them at the moment. So he could be a great option for Klopp to bring in, just as a bit more attacking quality in that final chunk of the season. Like Liverpool seen before, the last time they won the league in 1990, when they were beginning to flap a little bit, bringing Ronnie Rosenthal on loan, and he made the difference. Maybe Mario Götze could have that sort of impact. He can play up front, he can play in the midfield 3, he can play as that number 10, and while Minamino's come in and he's that option on the wings, Götze is that more central there. So he can make sure that Liverpool have got that added option there. And when you've got the rumours as well today of Xherdan Shaqiri potentially leaving the club, it's another option that could be an alternative to him to grant him that departure.
Okay, so the player I would like Liverpool to sign in January is Max Aarons of Norwich City. The case being that whilst there is some cover at fullback in the Liverpool squad, obviously James Milner can play there amongst others, and obviously there's a lot of youth prospects. Yasser Larouci we've seen, Nico Williams, players who are knocking on the door. I don't think there's really anyone who can replicate what Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson provide to the team in terms of ball progression, crossing ability. They are obviously, as every Liverpool fan knows, two of the very, very top elite fullbacks in world football. And I do think Aarons has got a very high ceiling from what I've seen of him. I think he's a good player. Impressed at Anfield this season. The other snapshots I've seen of Norwich, he's looked good. And I think he's got a bit of versatility to him, although primarily on the right side of the defence. I've read that he can play left back as well, which would be really useful to give Klopp some good options on both sides, and one player who could be on the bench and potentially provide for a substitute for Trent or Robertson. And given the amount of game time that they've both seen this season, I think we would benefit from someone who can come and fill in for them straight away. So that is my case.
The player I would like Liverpool to sign this January is Tyler Adams, the RB Leipzig defender / midfielder. He's a 20-year-old American. I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of him personally, but I have seen a few highlights. But most importantly, I've heard a lot of things about him from several people who do watch him, and they say that he is a fantastic young player. I think what Liverpool needs, and pretty desperately, is somebody who can cover those full-back positions. They need somebody who's energetic in the midfield, and he pretty much plays as a holder midfielder mainly for Leipzig. So you're thinking about somebody like Jordan Henderson, who's now going towards the age of 30. Of course, Fabinho's a little bit younger, but you've also got Wijnaldum, who's 29. You've got Milner, who's 33. In a couple of years' time, you're probably looking at midfielders like Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, Fabinho, and I think Tyler Adams, and the fact that he can hopefully fit into that midfield, but he can also serve as a backup a little bit like James Milner does at the moment. Right back, he hasn't really played left back, but we know what Jurgen Klopp can do in terms of making players a little bit different and play in a different position. So for me, he's young. He comes from the Red Bull group, of course. Liverpool have had a lot of success with players such as Sadio Mane, Naby Keita, and of course now Takumi Minamino. So the relationship with that club is already there. He's played under Julian Nagelsmann, who is a fantastic coach, one of the most highly rated young coaches in the world. He's, as I say, he's versatile, and also he's a United States international. Now you shouldn't be buying players just because of where they're born, but with the whole new Nike deal as well, you could imagine he'd be on the billboard of Times Square in no time. So that's who I'm going for. Liverpool should be going for Tyler Adams, 20-year-old from RB Leipzig.
The player I'd like Liverpool to sign is Emiliano Buendía. I just think he'd offer Liverpool something a bit different, something that they've not quite got at the minute. 7 assists for Norwich this season in the team that's bottom of the league is pretty impressive. And he's only 23 as well, so he's got plenty of time to develop. And if you can imagine him linking up with the likes of Salah, Mane, Firmino, I think he could really offer Liverpool something a bit special.
The player I want Liverpool to sign in January is Conor Coady. I've been banging the Conor Coady drum for a while now. He's a Scouser. He came through Liverpool's academy. He's a really intelligent guy, a good leader, somebody that Wolves fans love, and played very well against Liverpool earlier this season. And I just think he'd slot in well. He's exactly the right type of character that will work well in Klopp's squad. And he can play in a couple of different positions. He can play in defensive midfield, at centre-back, in different systems. And look, Liverpool don't really need anyone, do they? Let's be honest. But they've had lots of injuries at centre-half. We don't know what the future holds for Dejan Lovren in terms of he might leave in the summer. Very nearly left last summer. So Conor Coady for me would come in. He'd fit right in. He wouldn't upset the apple cart, and I think that's what it's all about for Liverpool now. If it's not a superstar, then Conor Coady would be great, and he'd be delighted. So come on, Klopp, sign Conor Coady.
So the player that I would like Liverpool to sign, not particularly fireworks. I think people want that, but I don't think it's realistic for the January window. So I think I'm going to be realistic. Look at the left back role. I think that's the one area of the team that Liverpool maybe needs to improve upon in terms of depth. On the right side, you've maybe got Nico Williams coming through, but on the left, I don't think we've got really any players there. So I would look at Joe Bryan of Fulham and Jamal Lewis at Norwich. 2 players in a similar mould, both mobile, quick, offensive traits, good going forward and things like that. English, homegrown. I think Lewis is 21, Bryan's 26. I think both should be relatively cheap, considering the pair of them should be in the Championship next season. So just 2 players that I think would make a lot of sense moving forward for Liverpool. I don't think they'd be particularly expensive, so considering the rotation options that allow Liverpool to dedicate maybe 10-15 million to a player that's not going to play a great deal of minutes in the Premier League. So, as I said, not maybe fireworks, but just 2 signings that I think either of them would make sense for Liverpool, so I'd go with them too.
The player I would like Liverpool to sign in January is Jarrod Bowen from Hull City. 2 consecutive seasons in the Championship now, and he's continuously set it alight. He's scored in goals, he's young, he's energetic, and I really think that in the summer Liverpool might well part company with Harry Wilson and maybe continue the policy. I don't think Jarrod Bowen will come in and be an immediate starter, and I don't think he'd expect to be an immediate starter, but who in world football could, with that front 3 currently available to Jurgen Klopp? But he's someone that, as we've shown Again, Liverpool next season could be fighting in several cup competitions. To win them, he'd be good rotation option. And again, look at how Liverpool have worked their way in the transfer market in the last couple of seasons. They buy players and sell them on for a good resale value. Jarrod Bowen, going into the last 6 months of his contract at Hull, they have an option to extend it by a year, but that by no means would deter Michael Edwards, I don't think, to work his magic, get a good deal, see how he fared at Liverpool, and it would either be a bargain transfer that comes off, or maybe in a season or two they'd be able to sell him on for a significant profit, and it'd be an exciting transfer to add to the forward line, with Minamino coming in recently as well, and really be a signal of intent that Liverpool are thinking towards the future with Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones as well.